Hello, LegendAqua here for my favorite animes of fall 2022 list. So, as you can kind of see, I haven't watched this much this season. However, there is a reason why. We'll get to it when we'll get to it. So, first, let's start off with the sequels, namely Spike's Family Part 2. So, it's the typical Spike's Family stuff that's been going on, namely with Lloyd and Anya. Lloyd finally gets to meet his goal, finally, but doesn't succeed in it for now, but we'll get more into him later. Anya does Anya stuff, and Yor, in my opinion, has the least screen time. Yes, she has her brother as a bit of, backstory here and there, but in terms of her assassin job and her, normal job at the same time, not much is given to us about Yor, and I wish we get more backstory towards her. Maybe in the second season we get more character development / backstory, more backstory just to Yor herself. A little bit more. I wish that happened a little bit more. If the second season does give us that, I'll be basically happy, but for the most part, this part 2 of Spike's Family is your typical Spike's Family stuff with more craziness. It's to be expected. Easy yes for me. Next up is Boku no Hero Academia 6th season. Yeah, 6th season. I can't really go into too much detail about this because a lot is happening, and this is a two-cour season, by the way. So, we're only halfway there, and this arc in itself is very big, and I can't go into too much detail. It's just they just speed past the story with what it's going for, and just I can't go into too much detail. I'll give it an A. We'll see where it goes, which is why I'm giving it an A. That's all I'm gonna say. Next up is Uzaki's second season, and Uzaki, we get a little bit more, character development and interpersonal relationship between Uzaki and the main protagonist. We get a little bit more into detail with Uzaki's family as well as the main protagonist's family, which I'm actually interested in because there's a lot of misunderstandings between both parties. Although the main protagonist's family is a little bit more aware of the situation compared to Uzaki's family, where there's a lot of misunderstandings. But for what's given to us with the second season, yeah, it's Uzaki being Uzaki, and I actually like it a lot. So easy A there. Next up is Pop Team Epic, and oddly enough, I'm going to give this an A rank. Mainly because, yes, there's a lot of in-game meta trolling with this second season, mainly towards, obviously, to us, the audience, but also King Records at the same time. But even with all these, skit episodes that's going on, there is 2 notable episodes that are quite good. Namely, it's the Hellshake Yano sequel episode and the finale. I'm just going to leave it there because, yeah, they're notable for a reason, and I implore you to watch it because it is Pop Team Epic being Pop Team Epic, seriously. Next up is Yamane Susume's Next Summit, and I'll say this. Considering that Yamane Susume started off as an anime short and then it fully developed into a anime season afterwards, it felt like this season felt like it condensed both the previous seasons and recapped it. It's not just me. It felt like they did that for some reason. But beyond that, Yamane Susume is basically cute girls doing cute things, namely hiking a mountain. That is basically what it is. It's essentially Yuru Camp without the camping. But yeah, I liked it. It had some Yuri undertones here and there, which is to be expected for these cute girls and cute things kind of situations, but I give it a B. It's your typical cute girls doing cute things kind of situation. Next up is Mob Psycho 100 Part 3, and I believe this is the finale of Mob Psycho 100. I can't say much beyond the Mob character development, as well as all the other characters that's going on with this final season. But for a final season, I tied up a lot of loose ends. It got extremely emotional at that as well as some high stakes here and there. There was definitely high stakes during the finale, I'll say that much. I can't say much without spoiling, but easy yes. If you love LegendAqua 100, you are going to love the finale. Even though, yes, it's the finale, but still, like, absolutely, this third season is extremely good. Next up is Peter Grill's second season, and I can't say much about the premise, just look it up in Mal or any list, but more girls, more craziness as to be expected. Obviously, I watched this, I carried on watching Peter Grill because the main female protagonist is basically voiced by Makino Yakumi's voice actor, which is why I was curious about it. I still watched it, and I think it's crap. No, it's still decent for what the premise is going for. There are some despicable characters here and there, but it doesn't lower it down to the point of being absolutely horrible. The premise, it's dependent, but it's played for laughs. But for what it is, I'm okay with it. But the censorship was actually quite annoying because it was rampant in this season. But beyond that, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And that will do it for the sequels. Next up is the originals, and Eminence of Shadow. This one surprised me quite a lot, namely because it's basically Overlord with a different setting, because the main protagonist basically gets isekai'd into another world, but he's a toonie, but he wants to be a background character, but he gets thrust into all these situations where he becomes the main protagonist. And the thing is, the main protagonist, even though he's set up to be this evil bad guy, he's actually doing more good than evil, because all of his toonie antics, along with his harem, leads to a lot of good things for him and making him out to be the good main character when he just wants to be the background character of an anime. And he says what I just said sometimes verbatim, so he kind of knows. And because of that, it surprised me with the premise itself, because I just thought it was going to be a typical isekai anime. It's not. And the thing is, this is a two-cour anime, so there's still more to come. And for what it's given us for this first cour, I was not expecting it, not to mention some of the meta jokes, but for what it's given us, I was quite surprised. The comedy is actually on point at the same time. Yeah, Eminence of Shadow, definitely a surprise for me. Also a surprise is Akira Maid Wars, and this one, obviously, maids, I like maids and everything, but this one, it combines maid cafes with Yakuza / old-timey mafia movies and just blends them together. And along with my favorite character, Ranko, let's just say a lot happens. I'll say that the first 4 episodes is like episodic here and there, giving us introductory towards the main cast, but after that it goes to a continuous storyline and it builds up from there. And because of that, I theory crafted a lot as to what was going to be happening at the finale. Did I get it right? It subverted my expectations, I'll say that much, but beyond that, I can't say much because obviously spoilers, but it subverted my expectations in a good way, so definitely I'll give it that. One final thing to note is that Ranko, obviously my favorite character from this anime, she reminded me heavily of Wilhelmina Kamel, obviously one of my waifus, my previous waifus. That helped a lot, so definitely like Akira Maid Wars, it is quite unique for what it's giving us, so definitely I like it. It's definitely up there for me. Also up there for me is Chainsaw Man, and obviously this one has all the hype behind it, and did it deliver? I'll say absolutely yes. From its animation, the characters, the nuances it gave, the uncensored glory it has just given us as well. Not to mention a hint at the second season, and because of that, just all of those combined, was the hype worth it? Absolutely yes. And because of that, for S tier alone, let's just put it on like this, and this for my favorites. Yeah, so Chainsaw Man first, Akiba Maid Wars afterwards, and then Mob Psycho 100 Part 3. Yes, I like Akiba Maid Wars that much. But yeah, Chainsaw Man definitely lived up to the hype. If it does get a second season, I'm definitely going to watch the second season. So, not much beyond that. Next up is an anime title in Japanese. I can't exactly say in Japanese because it's too long, but let's just say it's 4 high school girls who have secrets. The secrets is not a spoiler, so I'll just say what the secrets are for the 4 girls, and from that, the premise obviously carries on from that. So, the 4 girls, the secret is that one is an alien, one of them is an ex-ninja, another one is a boy, and another one is a psychic. Yeah, so put all of them together, make a full-blown comedy out of it, and let, obviously, this premise go, like, be used up and just, like, basically go full force with that premise alone and just write it out. It is mainly a comedy, and obviously there's a bit of like a drama at the end, but it's like drama to say the least. But given its premise and given its highly comedic situations that it gives us, it's a lighthearted cute girls comedy, and beyond that, yeah, easy B for me, along with Yamano Susume basically. Finally is Arknights, the anime adaptation. Season 1, and I will say, as a person who has played the Arknights game for about a year and a half, I'll say, and has 2 accounts, I absolutely liked it. Even though people are saying that the finale is just like, is that it? Like they think it's anticlimax, whatever. I say it is supposed to be like that, and beyond that, it is still a faithful anime adaptation of the characters, the world building, the world setting, the nuances it's trying to give us towards it. The animation is actually pretty good as well. It is, I believe, it's held by Hypergrowth as well, so they're overseeing the anime as well, if expected. But because of that, it is still a faithful anime adaptation, and where it left off with the so-called anticlimax, it was supposed to happen. It is more or less the second season onwards where it gets way more serious than it is intended, and because of that, I believe that the Arknights anime has a lot of potential for what it's worth. And since the second season has been announced, I say basically it has a lot of potential. If the second season, obviously comes out, I will definitely give it an S. But for now, it's definitely an A. And obviously, as an anticlimax of a first season it is supposed to be like that. That is all I'm going to say. And therefore, it is still a faithful anime adaptation of Arknights. How do I know this? Even though I'm not exactly I'm a story skip kind of guy. I've read through a summarized version through Quasar MLG. That's kind of how I know. Okay, so with the fall 2022 animes out of the way, how about the animes that weren't from fall 2022? The first one is Talentless Nana. Basically, it's the premise is basically a person with no superpowers kills superpowered humans for the sake of humanity, basically. And that premise alone got me interested. I was curious about it when it got first released, but I was watching other animes at the time. But for what it gave us, I mean, I am extremely interested. There is actually a little bit more towards the premise in itself alone, and because of that, I'm interested. I'm actually very interested if this ever gets a second season. And it is dark, to say the least. It is very dark of an anime, so definitely intrigued by this one, and definitely give it an A. Obviously, it's still ongoing in terms of, I believe, the manga or the light novel, but yeah, if it does get a second season, I'm all for it. Next up is Summertime Render, and this is an obvious yes. This is, in my opinion, the second best anime that I watched this season. That's not a part of the fall 2022. If it's not part of the fall 2022 season, it's probably my favorite anime that I've watched overall. Namely because it is a time travel anime with basically like TLDR synopsis. It's basically Steins Gate roots with ReZero on Asian difficulty, because it is 1, dark as hell, 2, the main villain is like 2 steps ahead of the main protagonist, and it still keeps within the rules of the time travel that it has given us. And yeah, you can't tell it from this poster alone, but just you have to watch Summertime Render. It is the main reason why I couldn't watch it at this, when it was released, is because it was in Disney Plus jail, and therefore it got delayed heavily, constantly. So I couldn't be bothered watching something that just kept coming out in chunks. But since I fully watched it afterwards, and I finished it, absolutely loved it. The premise, everything, the characters, the animation, it is so good. I just wish it wasn't in Disney Plus jail, but I still watched it afterwards anyways. Nonetheless, Summertime Render, it is so good. It is so good. Finally is Bleach, and I'm gonna put it in A, but I'll say the reason why afterwards. But for now, the main question you're probably going to say is, oh, did you pick up Bleach with a 1000-year Blood War arc, and did you start from the beginning? The last part, I will say no. I have watched Bleach before, because the first time I ever watched Bleach, I went all the way to the Bound arc. And here's the thing, the Bound arc sucked any enjoyment I had for Bleach, because 1, the filler arc was extremely long, and it just burned me out. For 10 years! For 10 years! It was a combination of both some intrigue from the 1000-year Blood War arc that I heard through, news as such. The second thing was that I didn't have much to watch this season, so I did not know what to watch. And thirdly is the fact that one of my Discord members basically nagged me constantly to pick up Bleach again. So, with all those 3 factors together, I just basically said, you know what, why not? So, after basically the Bound arc, I started from here-ish. It's basically when, I believe I did try to carry on to watch more, but I believe I started here when Shinji arrived, and then from here, I went all the way down. I believe I watched some filler episodes. I think I kind of watched this filler arc, I think. After that, went all the way down. I watched this filler episode, and then I skipped the rest, and then I started the Hukumino arc properly. So going all the way down. I watched this filler arc as well. Just to see what it was only 3 episode. It was only a 3 episode arc, so yeah. All the way down to the Fierce Fight arc. All the way down. I skipped this one because it was full on filler. I don't like filler arcs in Bleach completely because the Bound arc can be a bad experience, so I skipped this entire thing. All the way down to Aranka versus the Shinigami arc. Finished watching all that. I skipped these 2 filler episodes because I wanted to finish this huge arc. And then we went to a new arc where we went to the past, and this is where I stopped. So if you guys know where I'm at, you guys know where I'm at. So basically, because of this, starting from episode 110 minus some filler arcs and some filler episodes. Basically, I watched a lot of Bleach this season, which is why there wasn't that much new outside of fall 2022 animes that I watched, because Bleach took a lot of that. So, why am I giving it an A? Basically, I see a lot of potential from this. The Arrancar arc was basically in contention with the Soul Society arc as what it gave us. Not to mention, with what this past arc is giving us, there's going to be a bit more setup as well as why some minor characters are where they are. And it gave us detail as to why now. Basically, because of that, it gave us a lot of setup as to what this arc is going to be like, and I am excited for it. However, I am taking a short break from Bleach because I believe I finished this episode, or this arc basically, yesterday, but I do want to take a small break where I just watch 2 anime shorts, and then I'll be continuing on with Bleach, so that I can catch up with, obviously I'm going to miss any filler arcs here and there, so that I can actually get to the 1000 Year Blood War arc, minus obviously all the filler stuff. I said that before, but I need to be repeating, so that I can actually catch up to when part 2 of 1000 Year Blood War arc is going to be happening. So yeah, I'm basically trying to speedrun the rest of Bleach from where I left off for this little break I'm having, so I can catch up to the 1000 Year Blood War arc in about like 7 to 8 months, basically. So yeah. So yeah, that will do it for my fall 2022 anime tier list. Comment below what your favourite animes of fall 2022 were, or what you thought about my tier list, and let me know. With that, LA out.